Hey, what's up, lightboltjoe here. Today we're going to discuss the 2010 comedy action comic book thriller film Kick-Ass. This is based on the best-selling graphic novel series of the same name. Aaron Taylor Johnson, who is just Aaron Johnson at this point, is the main character. Dave Lazuski, who plays Kick-Ass. Chloe Moretz plays Hit Girl. You have Nicolas Cage as Big Daddy. Christopher Mintz plays Chris DeMarco in this, aka Red Mist. So it's cool having an actor play a character who has the same name, because you just sound Chris, and it's the same name, actor to character. A lot of other people are in this. This is such a nostalgic, iconic film. Watching it 15 years later, yesterday, April 16th. I'm currently recording this on April 17th. Yesterday, April 16th, marked the 15-year anniversary of this film, and I was like, bro, how has it been 15 years? Since this movie came out. I remember it distinctly. I remember Kick-Ass and the 2010 remake of Death at a Funeral, which is one of my all-time favorite comedy films, premiered the same weekend at the box office. It was an incredible, opening weekend for movie theaters at that point, having those two iconic films alongside other things. And I won't forget it. It was such a wonderful moment. But the fact that both of them celebrated their 15-year anniversary yesterday, I couldn't believe it. And then revisiting Kick-Ass, I was like, man, I missed this movie. I haven't seen it in so long. Then realizing I'd never talked about it. I've never done a review on Kick-Ass. And then doing both Kick-Ass 1 and Kick-Ass 2 back-to-back, 2010 and 2013, I realized why I never did it, because the second one is very problematic. Watching it now, 12 years later, it is a very problematic film. The sequel. The first one is fine. I have no problems with the first film. Second one I have a lot of problems with. And I understand why I don't watch it anymore, because it's very problematic. We'll talk about that film at another point. But right now we're talking about the first one. So Dave is this, standard high school sophomore. He is wondering why no one's ever become an actual superhero before, right? So we're in New York, primarily Queens, and he doesn't understand it. So he decides to become a superhero. So he buys this green scuba suit with some yellow lines on it, gets some batons on his back, calls himself Kick-Ass, runs a MySpace page, and just, takes some hits, if you will, hints. Oh, I need help with this, or I need help with that. So, he's going to try to, be a superhero. Will it work? Will it won't work? Will he impress the girl that he likes, despite the fact that the girl thinks he's gay? Another funny aspect of that. Very entertaining watching him play gay to then eventually date Katie at some various points. Hysterical. I really like the dynamic that Evan Peters has as the character of Todd in this first film, because then his character is recast in the second film. I'm still upset about that 12 years later, but he was very busy with American Horror Story at that given point in his career. So I understand, but his character of Todd is wonderful. And then Clark, what's his name? Clark Duke plays their other friend, Marty. Hysterical. The three of them are wonderful together. Chloe Moretz playing this young Mindy girl. Hysterical, because she never had a childhood. So now she was trained to be this assassin from her father, Big Daddy Nicolas Cage. And so what happens when Big Daddy and Hit Girl then acquire Kick-Ass along the way to then defeat the DeMarcos, right, for revenge purposes. But then, of course, all hell breaks loose in various points. There's two different very specific endings in this film. Red Mist and Kick-Ass, have some bonding moments at one various point, but Red Mist at the end vows revenge for the death of his father. So then leading into the second one years later. What I find interesting about this is that we don't actually get ages on these characters. We only know that Dave's a sophomore in this particular film because of the second film. Because they say, oh, it's been 2 years, and now he's a senior. So obviously he was a sophomore in the first film. And then in the second film, they say, oh, Mindy's now 15, which means she had to be 13 in the first film. But it's just a weird thing, because she doesn't play a 13-year-old in this. She plays like a 10-year-old in this. So weird. When you're kind of retconning certain things. Now, I never read the comic books. I don't know what their ages are supposed to be in the books. I can only go based on the material. So we know that Mindy is this homeschooled girl who acts like she's 10, who, is now fighting alongside Kick-Ass, who is a teenager. But what teenage year is he in? They don't really talk about in the first film. More stuff to come in the second film. That's where the problems start to come in. But I think Chloe and Aaron do a great team up job throughout this. I think everybody does a great job. What's wonderful about this film is the score. The score is just gorgeous. And Matthew Vaughn is a producer, co-writer, and director of this project. Matthew Vaughn did Rocketman. He did Kingsman. He's done Tetris. He's done a lot of different films with Taron Egerton in this, which I find funny that Taron's not actually in this, but Taron collabs were after this moment. But this has a lot of Matthew Vaughn charm. And I don't know how else to explain it because Matthew has this very specific way of blending action, drama, comedy, and heartfelt moments in a very specific way. And you see that in Kingsman. You see that in Rocketman. You see that in Kick-Ass. The first Kick-Ass film. This film is just very iconic and glorious because of that beautiful blend that Matthew knows how to do. And I don't know how else to explain it. It's the Vaughn blend, or the Marv Pictures blend, if you will, because that's his production company, which comes from Matthew Vaughn. Marv? I guess his middle name's Robert. I really don't know, but where else would the R come from? Anyway, wonderful film, wonderful nostalgic film. I will never get tired of watching this film. The first film is absolutely iconic. Second one is, we don't talk about the second film, but we're going to talk about the second film. And then we're never talking about the second film again. On to the next review. Mahalo.